Okay, so we've got a few more initialization commands for Superlab 2. So we're setting up some aggregate Ethernets, and we've got to let the chassis know what we're doing. So set chassis, aggregated devices, Ethernet, device count 1. Then later on we're going to have another aggregated Ethernet when we come to do the EVPN, so that'll go up to 2. Then set interfaces, G001, gig ether options, 802.3, AD, AE0. So bit of a mouthful, but basically these are the individual Ethernets that are going to be part of the lag group AE0, and that's 802.3 AD, and that's basically on the individual Ethernets. And then on the AE0 itself, unit 0 will put a description. We're going to set the aggregated Ethernet options LACP active, and that's going to enable the 802.3 AD itself on the AE0. We're setting minimum links to, it's a design decision. Basically what it means is that if one of the lines goes down, the whole thing goes down. You might want this if it can't support the amount of bandwidth that you require, but obviously it does mean that if one goes down, both do drop. And then we're putting on the family Init address. Okay, so we're looking for the most efficient way to turn on these families. Now, we're going to be needing family MPLS because it's going to be needing to insert a shim actually into the packet. So it really is a family as well as a protocol. We need family INET 6 because of course we want INET 6 operational on the interface, and again that's an encapsulation type as it goes out. And we need family ISO because of course we need the ISO encapsulation for the ISIS hellos. Because even though they're carrying IP version 4 and version 6, they're actually functioning on the original CLNS. So that's going to be needed. We're going to use the group, so set groups, enable MPLS ISO, interfaces wildcard, unit wildcard, and that gets applied on the interface. So set interfaces, apply groups, enable MPLS ISO. Then of course we also have to remember that inside the family MPLS we also need the interfaces enabled as well. So if we don't want it enabled on an interface, for example our management FXP0, that's not a good idea. So set interfaces FXP0, apply groups accept, enable MPLS ISO. And because we're doing our out-of-band management there, that doesn't need to be operating on the INET 6 on the MPLS with the setup that we have in our environment. Okay, so once these take effect, these groups take effect, it's relatively invisible. If we do show interface and then we pipe into display inheritance, we can actually see the impact that the groups had on the interface. Otherwise, it remains largely invisible. It's a good command to run anyway, just to make sure there's nothing there taking effect that you're not aware of. Okay, so we've been asked to turn on graceful restart for most of the protocols, and the ones that we're going to be turning it on are the ISIS, the OSPF, the more dynamic sort of IGPs. On this lab, we're going to be we've been asked to turn it off on the BGP. So set protocols BGP graceful restart disable, but we're turning it on the other protocols.